Okay, now I think we've come to probably, actually, definitely the most annoying part in my experience. You're going to need the following. This extremely small spring with a couple of detents, and I'll show you why this one has a chunk missing out. And you will need this one, which goes here. So attaching this small piece, again, it just springs and pin and springs covered, I believe, but really its biggest purpose is you stop the hammer pin from walking out or falling out. Like I mentioned, this is a tort receiver. When I tried to put this in first, so again, this is what it looks like, and the tail is cut off. I cut maybe 1 millimeter off, or maybe 0.5 millimeter. I snipped it off with side cutters. When I put it in here, even when I compress this with full, I have a couple of roll pin punches. So even when I, compress this all the way, the head of the punch, and again, this goes in there, so the head of the punch was well above the receiver. Now, what that tells me is that it was not drilled deep enough. I don't know if that's a common issue. Again, I've only assembled one, but for me, that was definitely a problem. So my solution, or my, solution to this problem was either I had to snip a little bit of the spring, or just snip the end of this little detent, which really, to me, it doesn't come out the other side. And again, if I'm wrong, let me know, but it doesn't really serve a purpose other than to retain that plate. So I'm probably wrong there. I just still cannot find any evidence that at least the back part does anything at all. What I did is snip 1 millimeter off, and it was like 0.5 millimeter at a time. It took a couple of snips to actually get this to seat correctly. But why this is challenging is you're not only fighting one detent. When you're putting this in, you are fighting 2 detents, and they love flying out. They hate, being in that hole. What I found to work better than, I guess, anything else is to do it one at a time. So walk this plate in, and that's a little challenging, but not the end of the world. So again, as I mentioned, there's a lot of detents in a part kit. Please make sure you're using the right one. So this is what the front one looks like. Got a little flat face, and it interfaces perfectly with this big one, right? So like that. Do not use any of the other ones. It's it's a flat one, and it interfaces there. The same goes for the little one. This little one is a little, I hate it. It interfaces with this one, right? So like this. Also, do not put this in upside down. I don't even know what you would do if you accidentally put it in this way and this part, came off the spring, and then good luck fishing that out, because there's no access hole. So regardless, let's get to it. And again, we're doing this live, so you'll see all the struggles, or maybe I'll get lucky and it will work the first time. All right, so what I did the first time, if I remember this correctly, is I put this spring detent actually, no, I did not. I used my finger, I want to say, compressed it like that. Okay. Whoop. Okay. Slightly compressed. Okay, so then put this in, and now you're holding it on the shoulder like that. If I let go slightly, this is flying up and probably breaking my camera. What you will need here for sure is a good set of roll pin punches, and just punches in general. What I'll do here is push this like that, and now it's covered. Now, we don't want to seat this completely, and this is what makes it challenging. I don't know if you want to use a piece of tape. If we seat this correctly, now you're putting too much of a stress on here, and this won't want to slide in, right? So I left this like this first time around. Again, treat this like a loaded grenade. Make sure you're wearing eye protection, because if this flies up into your eye, it's going to hurt. This is kind of like the AR takedown detents, but a little stronger. I don't know, maybe I got a super strong spring, but this is very strong. The first time I did it, it flew off and it hit the wall. There was a mark left in the wall from where it hit, so you definitely don't want that hitting your eye. All right, now the second one, you will need a very small roll pin starter punch. Here's what I did. Okay, so first of all, make sure you're applying a little bit of constant pressure here, and there's a little slot for this to slide into, not just the detent, but there we go. You see how now there's this pressure holding that? Like I said, treat that like a loaded gun. What I do is take a very fine point, the balancing act. Okay. And this is maybe slightly too long still. Okay. So then you want to walk in this plate in its place. Just walk it in. Just tap it in. Okay. Whew. That took a little pressure, but I think you get the idea, right? And here's the thing. This is perfectly seated now. You'll see that this is slightly offset. Press it down and move it side to side like that. And we have now finished the hardest part. Yeah, this one made me miserable the first time I did it. Partially because, again, this small one was far too long, and I was fighting it. My hands were to the point of, my tips of my fingers were hurting a ton because I was pressing so hard. I just cut it off. It's not hurting anything. It's retaining this. When I took this apart to disassemble it, I fought that pin to go all the way down and slide this off. So this is not coming off by itself. Absolutely not. Hopefully that tip helped. Again, the key is use a lot of pressure to hold them in place, and do not let go without having something holding these down. Otherwise, they are going to fly across the room. One thing that I do also recommend is, just like with assembling ARs, if you have a box or a bag that you can work in, that way if these fly off, they're retained inside something and you can find them. Otherwise, they're very small, especially this one, and it's going to be very difficult to find them on the carpet or any dark, area. So anyways, that's that part.